today we are reviewing the mod Runic Wyverns by Wolf of the Night, available for both PC and console. This mod introduces 9 new wyverns for you to deal with and attempt to tame. These are the Runic Flame, Venom, Spark and Glacial, as well as the Crystal Runic Wyverns, which are Quartz, Ruby, Emerald and Sapphire. Now there is one final type of wyvern, but I will get to that later in the video. Now these wyverns have a higher damage resistance, more powerful melee, impeccable maneuverability, and some special attacks for you to check out once you tame them. So let's begin by going over what the wyverns have in common. Now, you'll all agree with me, one of the main problems with the Ark Wyverns is they are too slow and can take a long time to reach a destination. Well, the Runic Wyverns are much faster, and they also have the ability to glide and dive, similar to a griffin, which allows them to traverse long distances with ease. And you can also bring a friend, as they will allow a passenger to ride along with you. Another new feature these wyverns have over the originals is they are able to do a barrel roll while flying or diving. If the barrel roll hits another creature or a survivor, they'll be left with a debuff dependent on the type of wyvern you are on. For Flame, they'll set the target on fire. Venom will apply torpor at an increased rate. Spark will stun the target momentarily, and Glacial applies a slow effect to the target. Now the Crystal Wyverns can also barrel roll, but don't have any effects like the other wyverns. They do, however, have special abilities which they can use when they land. These are the Quartz has Tornado, which gets down and stuck and does AoE damage. Ruby has Sacrifice, which loses 20% of its health for a massive damage boost, but this can't be used when below 50% health. Emerald has Shimmering Shell, which buffs itself and nearby creatures with 75% damage reduction for about 25 seconds. And Sapphire has Deluge, which uses stored water, which it gets from eating, to give itself and its allies a healing buff. As well as these barrel rolls and special abilities, each Runic Wyvern has its own attacks. These are a bite and some kind of breath. For Flame, the bite causes the gash debuff, and the Flame breath is similar to the Fire Wyvern. Venom bites causes more torpor, and obviously spits range poison similar to the Poison Wyvern. Spark will health regen when eating corpses, similar to like an RG, and will have the Lightning Beam similar to the Lightning Wyvern. Glacial causes stamina drain similar to like the Ants. The Slowing Frost Breath will be similar to the Frost Wyvern. Then we have the Quartz, which Wind Burst Breath pushes and holds creatures in place while damaging them. Ruby has Bloodbane Breath, which damages enemies and returns that damage as health. Emerald has Crystal Barrage Projectile that pierces armor and does a whole lot of damage. And Sapphire has Hydro Blast, which reduces the target's health and stamina. Now that I've gone over the attacks, let's move on to taming and how to get one for yourself. For the normal Runic Wyverns, you can tame these straight away as long as you can knock them out. And then once knocked out, they will take the usual taming foods such as kibble, raw meat, regular or prime, and even wyvern milk. Obviously, wyvern milk can be collected by knocking out a female wyvern and accessing its inventory. However, the female Runic Wyverns will actually produce 4 milk over a 2-hour period once tamed, making life a little bit easier once you get that first one. Now, if you want to tame a Crystal Wyvern, you will need to be at least level 40, and then once you have the taming items mentioned before, you'll have to go up to the wyvern and passively tame it, similar to the Crystal Wyverns on the Crystal Isles map. Now, don't worry, these wyverns shouldn't aggro when you get close unless they are attacked. Now, if you're going about searching for the different types of crystal wyverns, like the Ruby or Sapphire, you'll be looking for a long time as they don't actually spawn naturally. You will need to make the specific crystal, which you'll then feed to the Runic Crystal Wyvern, aka the Quartz Wyvern, to convert it into one of these other types. Each of these crystals for the Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald will require different items and one of the talons from the other wyverns. If you end up killing one of these wyverns instead of taming it, you'll be rewarded with that type of wyvern's talons, which can be used to craft other items from the mod, which I'll get into in just a moment. However, once the wyvern is defeated, you can also harvest it for different items. So the Flame and Ruby wyverns will give you sulfur, the Venom and Emerald wyverns will give you rare flowers, the Spark and Sapphire wyverns will give you absorbent substrate, and the Glacial wyvern will give you crystals. There are other items which are added in this mod, starting with the armor chip. This adds armor to the wyvern and can be upgraded to different qualities similar to a saddle. The Runic Wyvern Shrine, which will allow you to make costumes for your wyvern, make the crystals to change the crystal wyverns into their specific forms, and also the ancient runic ghost wyvern summon. Now, some of you may be wondering, what is the ninth wyvern, as I have yet to mention it, and that is because this wyvern can only be obtained after defeating the current boss, the ancient ghost wyvern. There are other bosses planned for the future updates, but aren't available at this time. Now, I'm not going to go too much into defeating the boss and all that, so you can experience it for yourself, but once you do defeat it, the boss will drop a ghost wyvern summoner, which can have different stats, similar to like an enforcer summoner, which will simply consume in your inventory to get yourself a ghost wyvern. The ghost wyvern has a couple of abilities, the first being its blood rage, similar to a Karchar. The more it kills, the more damage it does, as well as its killing frenzy, which will give it a speed boost for a short period of time. For its breath, it will shoot a ball, which when it hits the creature will give it a wither flame debuff. Now when you do defeat the ghost wyvern, you will get the ghost essence, which you'll obviously need for the crystals for all the other types of crystal wyverns. The pros for this mod is that it adds a lot of new wyvern variants for you to mess around and play with to your heart's content. I also like that this mod improves on the current Ark wyverns instead of completely changing them, so they do fit into normal Ark quite well. I enjoy the detail and the vibrant colours and costumes of all the different wyverns, gives them a better look, and makes them stand out a little bit more. And finally, this mod has a unique boss with a couple more planned to join the mod later on, which I assume will be just as unique. For the cons, at this current moment there is an overspawning issue which is being worked on, so if you are experiencing that, then please hold out, as it shouldn't be a problem for too much longer, or may even not be a problem by the time this video is released. And finally, the crystal variants currently drop the same loot as the other runics. I would like to see them drop some different items. I believe that the Runic Wyverns mod will be an amazing addition to any Ark playthrough, whether it's heavily modded or not, as the Wyverns fit well with the current game and also add a bit of a challenge to keep you entertained. Now, as always, I will leave the link to the mod page at the top of the description for you to check out for yourself, as well as a link to the Discord channel in case you have any questions or queries you want answered. Now, in its current state, I would give Wolf of the Night's Runic Wyvern mod an 8 Ancient Shrines out of 10. So let me know, have you tried Runic Wyverns? Leave your thoughts on the mod in the comments below and suggest other mods you want me to review. Now if you've enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe, as in the next one we'll be looking at Human NPCs ASA by Zonekiller, which was chosen by you guys in a recent poll. So keep your eyes out for them if you want to suggest a mod for a future video.